and welcome to Stupid Ideas from Bad Creative, episode 16, season 2, episode 6. However you want to work it. I don't care how you work it. Yeah. It's episode 16 if you don't want to do seasons. It's episode 6 of season 2 if you do. Don't care. I'm joined by Sid.
I'm a fan of the seasons.
Yeah, so am I.
How are we going, guys?
Yeah. So, let's do some names. Let's start off with some names. Do you know?
Traditional episode start.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, have you done anything exciting recently? I guess we might start there.
Nothing really.
Nothing really.
Let's get into names.
Yep, let's get into names. Vince Russo.
No.
We have mentioned him, but yeah.
Did we mention him last episode?
No, I think it was the episode before.
Episode before, yeah.
Whatever one WCW was. That's when we mentioned him.
Yeah.
All right. What about Steve Blackman?
Nah.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned the name. We haven't talked about him.
I was gonna say, damn. Yeah. Okay, I gotta start going with my hunches.
Yeah. Bradshaw.
Yes.
Farouk.
Yes.
Mark Mero.
No.
Okay.
But also similar hunch.
Savio Vega.
Vega.
Yeah, no, we haven't talked about Savio.
We might not have talked about him, but I've definitely, yeah.
What about Ken Shamrock?
Yeah.
Dan Severn.
No.
All right. Both of them are UFC guys, but both of them have been in WWE. And
I was gonna say.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. The Brawl for All. That's what we're talking about this time. What do you think the Brawl for All is?
It sounds like a type of match. It sounds like we've discussed them before, and I'm drawing a blank on the specific name for it. But those matches where we just keep adding a new opponent in.
Battle Royal or Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Wrong. This is a shoot boxing tournament.
A shoot boxing tournament.
So what that means is that in wrestling you've got a shoot and a work, right? A shoot is real and a work is wrestling. So when you work somebody, you're working with them. When you shoot on somebody, you're actually going after them. So this is a shoot boxing tournament on a scripted wrestling show. So on a worked wrestling show, this is a shoot boxing tournament.
Okay, so
basically,
we're letting our...
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. We're letting our... Yeah, what's usually... Like you said, yeah, your entertainment wrestling. Yeah, we're letting them actually punch on, in a sense.
Yes. They are literally boxing each other. Right? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but so we've drawn back to boxing rules though, so less chance for injury.
I wouldn't say that, but
well, okay.
I mean, these are people that aren't trained to be boxers, being boxers, right?
By less chance for injury, I mean, okay, not less chance than what they would normally be doing, but less chance than if they were just having like a free for all. Like less chance than if they were doing what they do normally, but real.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll get that. All right, so the Brawl for All is a shoot boxing tournament on a scripted show, which is meant to showcase an up and coming talent. However, instead it causes numerous injuries, doesn't showcase anyone. People got fired for it and was all for nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Look. While I can see how that happened, I don't want to say that it was obvious from the get-go. I don't want to say it was like from the second you said we're getting our WWE fighters and having a boxing match. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's a little sketchy, but it would be interesting. It'd be kind of fun. And I was like, there's the potential for this to be good. Um, I guess, provided they were a bit sensible with it. But by the sounds of things, they were not. And
I mean, it is on this show, so you should have known how it was going to go
yeah,
anyway. However, it
yeah,
could have been a lot like last episode with Choppy Choppy PP, where it was sort of somewhat decent. But no, this one, yeah. So, anyway, let's get into it. We're in 1998. WWF writer Vince Russo, he is known for having horrible ideas. We have touched on that.
That's where I've heard of him.
Yeah. He's had an idea. Let's put 16 wrestlers into a single elimination boxing tournament due to Bradshaw backstage saying that he can legit take any member on the roster in a bar fight. The tournament begins June 29th, 1998 on an episode of Raw. The first round sees Steve Blackman, who is trained in MMA, beat amateur boxer turned pro wrestler Mark Mero. However, Blackman picked up an injury, allowing Mero to advance. So, okay. Bradshaw beats Mark Canterbury. Savio Vega beats personal trainer and bodybuilder Brackus. Droz, who in 1999 gets paralysed from a botched powerbomb from D'Lo Brown. He beats Road Warrior Hawk and well, no, he doesn't beat him. He advances without fighting him, but he was meant to because Hawk sustained an injury. Bart Gunn beats his tag team partner Bob Holly. Dr. Death Steve Williams, who was supposed to win the whole damn thing, beats Quebecer Pierre, who now works as Impact. He works in Impact Wrestling as PCO. Dan Severn, who holds an MMA record of 101 wins, 19 losses, and 7 draws, beats The Godfather, who advanced due to Severn saying he had nothing to prove and withdrew from the tournament. And the last match of the first round saw Scorpio beat 8 Ball. So that's the first round.
Okay.
Already in the first round, we've had injuries to Steve Blackman, Road Warrior Hawk, and Brackus. On top of that, Dan Severn pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the first round of this 16-person tournament. Four big things have happened.
Look, it's not going well, but again, I think at this point it would still be a little bit embarrassing if somebody came running out and was like, "We're canceling it."
Yeah. Well, WWE is not going to do that. They're just going to not do it anymore.
Exactly. They're kind of locked in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, WWE have a habit of starting something and then just not revisiting it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just go, okay, well, I guess that's done then.
Yeah.
They didn't do that.
Like, well, that idea wasn't great.
Yeah, they didn't do do that with this. So the quarterfinals sees Bradshaw beat Mark Mero, Droz beats Savio Vega, who picks up an injury, Bart Gunn beats Dr. Death Steve Williams, who also gets injured, and the Godfather beats Scorpio. So that's another 2 injuries in the tournament, bringing us to 5 out of 16 injured.
Now, when you say injuries, do we know how severe, what types of injuries?
I'm pretty sure most of them are concussions.
Oh, shit.
You know, that I didn't write it down, but yes, I think there is information out there as to what they pick up. But I'm pretty sure most of them are concussions. However, it is also the 90s, so they don't care about them very much.
From getting, knocked out, dropping decent blows to the head.
Yes.
So it's actually, like you said, it's in the 90s. It's surprising that they pulled that an injury and stopped them from, removed them from the tournament.
Well, they lost, so they were out anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true.
Also, one of those who got injured is the person who was meant to win the whole tournament.
Yes.
So that's nice. In the semi-finals, Bradshaw beats Droz, Bart Gunn beats The Godfather, Then in the final, Bart Gunn beats Bradshaw to win the tournament. $75,000. Bradshaw got $25,000. The original winner was supposed to get $100,000, but after that wasn't going to happen, they split like that. So yeah, there was money on the line.
Yeah.
After the tournament, which concluded on August 24th, 1998, Bart Gunn, the winner, sat at home for months doing nothing because WWE didn't have plans for him since he wasn't supposed to win. Then at WrestleMania 15, Bart Gunn was made to face pro boxer. If you had to guess a pro boxer in the 90s, who do you think it might have been?
Floyd Mayweather about yet, but I'm thinking Mike Tyson or
Not quite.
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know a lot of pro boxers.
Yeah, it was Butterbean. I don't know if you've heard of him. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
heard of, but wouldn't spring to mind
Yeah.
without being mentioned.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, he's made to fight Butterbean, so professional boxer, at WrestleMania, which Bart Gunn loses in 35 seconds and then is released from the company.
So it was fired.
Yep. So Bart Gunn wins this tournament, sits at home, does nothing, fights Butterbean, fine. That's the winner of the Brawl for All.
Okay, that's unfair. Because although it didn't, go with their little script, it's their fault that he was sitting at home all that time because they were just like, oh, we've got nothing for you. It wasn't like he was like, oh, I won all this money. I'm just not gonna come for a little while.
Yeah. No.
They literally had nothing for him.
I mean, I do also know that the original winner, Dr. Death, does eventually get fired shortly after too. Like there's people that get fired, after this. There's lots. So anyway, what do you think went wrong with this?
Well, for starters, personally, I'm still okay with the idea of the boxing match. Like, the fact that people got injured means maybe it didn't go super well, but I think, in terms of publicity and in terms of entertainment, I think having your wrestlers have a real life boxing match is potentially really cool. But then we touch on, I guess, the bit that you were saying about, somebody was meant to win. Basically, I think my issue with it is it ruins all your storylines from whatever storylines they're running at the time, whatever whatever their characters are doing at the time, whatever their wrestlers' storylines are at that moment, are going to be messed up because all of a sudden, we're seeing which ones have real skill, as in like our actual MMA fighters, and which ones are, like you said, bodybuilders or ex amateur boxers turned wrestlers. Yeah, and so like, yeah, a lot of your people who a lot of those storylines are going to get messed up. And so as fun as it would be to watch them have this match, it's automatically gonna ruin your storylines. It's automatically gonna mess up your storylines. And then, like you said, somebody was meant to win and you'd planned your storylines after this based on that. And then that person didn't win, and that's obviously gonna screw with all that. So I think it's a really, really cool idea, but I think they needed to separate it from WWE, or they needed to separate it from their like main storylines, so that
Yeah.
so it didn't mess with all their programming, all their bookings.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, just a quick little rebooking right here.
Mm-hmm.
how I would do it is instead of going, this person's meant to win, how about just go, whoever wins, we'll then push them instead. Instead of going, this person's going to win, we're pushing them. Oh, wait, hang on, they lost.
Bump. Yeah. Yeah.
Quick little
100%.
rebooking right
100%. 100%.
So,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yep.
And, you know, and then, like, in terms of firing people, well, and then again, I guess I'm assuming that they fired him because he sat at home for all that time, and then, you know, and then he lost the match to Butterbean, but that doesn't seem like a reason to fire someone.
I don't think that that's the only reason why they fired him.
Yeah, I'm sure there were issues.
Yes, sitting at home, doesn't help. But when they send you home, it's just one of them things where they've got nothing for you, so why keep you around?
Yeah.
It's just one of them. It's how they run their business.
So are rebooking this by, untying these storylines from the fight, or by, whoever wins, solves that problem, in my opinion. We're going to have less people fired, which is good.
Yeah. So, what I think went wrong is that, having shoot fights in a scripted sport seems pretty stupid. On top of that, all the injuries. You can't script. Yeah, exactly. On top of that, all the injuries and the fact that nobody got over from it meant that it was all for nothing. So that isn't right. And also, X-Pac also is quoted as saying, these guys are fighting for real, and that means that everything else you're watching is just bullshit. That's the other thing, is that you've got these people actually fighting on your show where people aren't actually fighting.
Usually.
Yeah.
So it really...
So
wow.
You're promoting...
This potentially fucks with audiences' idea of WWE for the rest of the existence from then on.
Yeah.
From then on, audiences can't help but remember that WWE isn't
real.
They're not seriously trying to fight it. Yeah. Well, yeah. I try not to use that phrase because...
Yes, I know, but that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Because, yes, we all know that WWE is scripted, and yes, everything they do in the ring isn't easy to do.
No.
I dare you to get slammed on the ground and see how you go about that. Yeah. It's going to hurt.
These people are fit and they can do the moves, but
they are protecting each other.
The injury caused, and they're protecting each other. Yeah, the injury caused is not real.
Yeah. They're working together. That's the thing, is that they're not fighting each other.
They're just put on a show.
Yes, they're working together to put on a show. So when on the same show you've got people fighting for real, and people
and not
working.
Just people. The people who are usually the characters.
Yeah.
I completely understand what you're saying there.
Yeah.
That's a big fuck up that I didn't even really think about.
Yeah, so how do you suspend your disbelief knowing these guys are fighting for real and these guys aren't?
Yeah.
Like when you go into a movie, you watch a movie, you've got to suspend your disbelief a little bit, Yeah. People don't have spider powers, but
no.
Yeah, look at Spider-Man.
It's fun to, So I suppose on that note, as much as I love the idea of seeing these WWE fighters wrestling, fighting, boxing for real, you almost have to completely delete it. It almost has to go. Basically. The only way to do it would be to have them box on a separate show.
There is one other way of doing it.
But that's not going to make any money for the WWE. So yeah, how else would you? Yeah.
So how I do it is, you just don't do it,
Mm.
obviously, but also
Which is a
if you,
shame though.
yeah, if you work the fights,
Mm.
nobody should get hurt, and all your booking will work as well. So you still do it, but instead of them actually going at
So
each
it's
other,
not shoot.
yeah, so it's not a
Yeah.
shoot, they work. So you make
So
it look as real
but
as you can, land some
yeah,
snug hits, just not hard enough to hurt anyone. And
we're
then
having
when you need them
we're
to
having a
go down,
boxing match.
yeah,
Yeah.
when they need
So
to
we're
go
just we're
down,
just
bang, and they fall down.
we're scripting a we're scripting a boxing match. So that way we still get to see our WWE wrestlers do something a bit different.
Mhm.
But I suppose, yeah,
Yeah,
it's still
it becomes
okay.
a work
And in
shoot.
that sense, it almost it almost adds to your suspension of disillusion. What is that
Disbelief.
phrase that you keep using? Yeah, it almost adds to your suspension of disbelief because, um, yeah,
Because it
you've
seems real.
you've seen them. Yeah, you've seen them fighting, but the characters that are meant to win are still winning.
Yes. Yeah. So it starts off as a shoot, obviously, but then you're working the shoot. So now it's a worked shoot.
Mm. Mm.
You're portraying it as a shoot, but it's actually worked. And I mean, that's how wrestling is basically. It's portrayed as real, but it's a work. And you're just doing this, but instead of wrestling, you're boxing. That's all it is. It's not hard. You've got gloves on, so it's not going to hurt quite as much as if it was
No.
bare knuckle. But
Mm.
you hit a few snug hits, so that people, when they're watching, go, "Oh no, he did actually hit him." And then when you want him to be knocked out, you throw one. And you sort of just tell him, "Hey, end," or finish, and
Drop.
bang, yeah. And then they drop, and that's it. You win. It stops injuries as much. There's always going to be chance of injury.
There's a risk.
Yeah,
You're doing a physical sport.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, like I said, you can book it so that it works. You can book it. You can book what comes after it because it should, barring those freak injuries, go as planned.
Yeah.
So, I guess, how do we? How would this help WWE? It might improve ratings because I mean it's something different.
It's a huge mix up, and it'll be really quite entertaining and cool to see.
Yeah, but with saying that, the actual Brawl didn't improve ratings, so it's probably it might not. Yeah, it might not. When people were really fighting each other, how is people not actually really fighting each other going to win?
Yeah.
But in theory, it should, and in theory, it should have.
Yeah.
But it should, however, create new stars because you're booking it, so the stars are being made.
Which is something we didn't touch on at all. That's true.
I mean, they made no stars because anybody that could have been a star got injured or was not the person who was supposed to win. So that didn't happen at all. Less injuries means there's more stars active, which means that there's more people to draw money, which WWE likes money. So yeah, that's what I reckon. I don't know. Do you have any extra thoughts? Anything you want to touch on?
Well, on top of that, you're not damaging that image of WWE. You're not damaging that disillusion, like you said, which I can imagine only hurt their viewership. And yeah, like I said, really would have messed with the idea of WWE in a lot of people's heads, whether they were viewers or not. And so I'm sure that's had consequences since then. So
Yeah.
without doing that,
I mean,
Yeah.
just talking about that now, though, does bring to mind back in the 80s and whatnot, where they really tried to keep the image of this being legit. Like people, they used to separate heels and faces. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't see a heel and a face leaving the arena together. You know,
Yeah.
you wouldn't see. You know, they'd share a locker room and everything. Everything backstage didn't matter. But anywhere, anytime they could be in front of the public, you would not see them together at all. You know, if they saw each other walking down the street, they'd have a go at each other from across the road. You know, all that sort of shit. You know, when they did allow people backstage from the outside, they kept up the kayfabe. You know, there's a moment that I can think of with I can't remember his name. Um, cannot remember, but it's someone Schultz, right? He was being interviewed, and they were saying about how fake it was. So he slapped the reporter multiple times and said, "Is that fake enough for you?" He then got sued, obviously.
I was gonna say that. I'm sure that went really well for
Yeah,
his lawyers. Yeah.
yeah. But that's what they did. They protected the kayfabe by
Yeah.
actually doing it to outside. But Hulk Hogan accidentally may have choked out a reporter one stage. He was on, might have been Letterman, something like that. You know, like that.
Mm-hmm.
He was meant to
One of
tap
those
out when
fucking
he
talk
was
shows.
like, yeah, he was worked into it. Like they worked it with him, but he was meant to tap out when it was getting a bit tight, and he didn't, or Hogan didn't realise, and just sort of choked him out.
Put him to sleep.
Yeah, so
One of those. Yeah.
you know, but he clearly had him locked in it. He had him locked in the choke. So it was still not like he was breaking kayfabe by doing that.
No.
But with
No. If anything, he's pushing it.
yes, but with this, they like X Pac said, you've got these people really fighting, and these people not. Then
Yeah.
you know, because they're booking this and promoting it as a real boxing fight against wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's only gonna hurt you.
yeah, it's only going to hurt
Which
the kayfabe.
yeah, I think the reason I think the reason I got so excited about this idea is I suppose I don't know about back then, like you said, you know, this whole stunt didn't even improve viewership. But if you did this nowadays, like in modern day, people fucking love these celebrity boxing matches. They put, you know, millions and millions of dollars into them, and they get mad viewership. So I'd be interested to see if you did something like this today. Um, you know, obviously the poor reasons for it would still apply. Um, but I'd be interested to see how it would go.
Yeah, I mean, and when you look at it all today, though, it is very different because you've got people like Logan Paul, Ronda Rousey, and
Mm,
all of them. You know, obviously Logan Paul being YouTube and does the celebrity
mm.
boxing, Ronda Rousey being actual UFC fighter.
MMA.
You know, like
Oh, so yeah,
they are all coming into it and doing it, but because kayfabe
yeah,
doesn't exactly exist anymore, people know that well they're really fighters and they're coming into
and they're
this.
not.
So I don't know, you know, it adds legitimacy when they come in because it's a real fighter.
Mm,
But yeah, I don't know if doing it today would work, mostly because, again, you've already got these crossovers happening anyway.
mm.
And also, yeah, with the added uh, I can't think of the word, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
people are more concerned about concussions now. You know, you get a
Yeah,
concussion, you might be out for 6 months.
yeah. So you know, we can't just chuck any WWE wrestler into this boxing match because if they're, you know, really not trained in boxing at all, as entertaining as it would be, they'd probably get hurt.
Yeah, and I mean
Um,
we've seen the
you
real
know,
brawl.
as fun as I would like, as much as I would love to see The Rock box Logan Paul in a real boxing match. Um, I don't know. I don't know how much real world boxing training Dwayne would actually have.
Yeah,
I imagine some,
yeah. I mean,
but
who knows? But yeah, I get what you're saying.
but
It'd be
yeah,
fun,
yeah.
but also
It'd be sick to watch, and you'd get mad viewership. But yeah.
yeah,
But your
like
point still stands. Like it wouldn't be quite the publicity stunt it was back then because it already exists, and the risk of injury is
way too high.
not necessarily worth it.
So once again, you'd have to work it anyway. And if you're working it, what's the point in doing it?
What's the point in doing it?
When you're already doing it at some, we had an MMA fight
That's it.
at SummerSlam, and it was a worked MMA fight, and it wasn't overly great because they didn't really do much. But and Ronda Rousey was a part of that. So yeah. Anyway.
And like
yeah. Go on.
No, it's hard to, I don't know, that worked MMA fight. It would be hard to watch Ronda Rousey lose that as a wrestler, knowing that she's a lot better than that.
She did lose it. She lost to Shayna Baszler, who was also a UFC. So
okay, well then
they were both UFC fighters. That's why they did.
There was a bit of logic to it. Okay, that's good.
But still, it was 2 UFC fighters in an MMA fight, and it was bad.
Yeah.
Because it was worked, and they couldn't exactly do what they wanted to do, or what they would do. Because
I think the spontaneity is important.
Yeah, and working it means that they're following a script, and
it's going to be a bit slower.
Yeah, and they can't just go, "I'm punching you in the head," because you can't do that. I can't just grab you in an armbar and snap your arm until you to win, because we can't just do that. They do that in UFC. I've seen it. But yes, that is it.
That brings us to the end of the episode.
That's it for this episode. Like, subscribe, channel, hit notification bell. Follow Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Links to those are in the description. I said Twitter and not X. And yeah, other than that, let me know what you thought of the episode in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Sid, say goodbye.
See you guys.
And good night.